Hello everyone, I'm Christina Giordano, the founder of Sold, your go-to resource for soulful entrepreneurship. And my philosophy is this: people can no longer be sold to, they must be sold to. This is selling with soul. This is marketing with integrity, where you no longer need to compromise your authenticity, your boundaries, your uniqueness, your wholeness. This is messaging in a way that actually reflects the transformation you provide, because it's your story, your transformation, and nobody can compete with that. This is manifesting in a way that honors your fullness, all of the pieces and parts of you that are meant to be divinely resourced. Join me every Wednesday to learn all of this and more. Let's jump right in. Today's episode is called When I Started to Manifest Miracles, the 10 Shifts That Changed Everything. Now, this episode is coming at a time in my life when things are really starting to come in for me. And by the way, if you are tuning into this on YouTube, the fuller version of this episode is available on my podcast, which is also called Sold by Christina Giordano. It's either Sold with Christina Giordano or Sold by Christina Giordano. It's one of those. But either way, it's a fuller episode, and this kind of gives just like a brief little version of that. But anyway, this is coming in my life when things are kind of flowing into me and I'm calling in a lot. And the reason why I wanted to do this episode is because I truly believed that these 10 shifts are representative of my new foundation. They represent a foundation that is rooted not only in my essence, because that's what I'm all about, but rooted in who I've become, in what I've transmuted, and what I've alchemized. And because of that, because they are so rooted within me and they are such a part of me, they have changed everything outside of me. And one of the things I will always say, and it kind of supports what I think about the current manifestation matrix, is that the inner transformation needs to happen before the outer transformation. If I didn't make these shifts in my life, in myself, none of this would have happened. I wouldn't be able to call in everything that I'm calling in. And I mean, some examples of what I'm calling in: prosperity, divine union, more time, more freedom, wealth, resources, opportunities. All of these things that I'm calling in right now are only the result of who I've become. It's because of who I am. It's because of my heart. And so I wanted to highlight these specific things because they were such a pivotal part of my journey. And if you know me, you know that I like to keep it real, that I like to share everything that I possibly can. And these are all, I will say, a result of me completing the money methods on my own. So for those who don't know, I have channeled 2 sequences of methods. The marketing methods is essentially what helps you market yourself authentically. So as I was saying in the intro, you're marketing yourself with full authenticity. You're messaging in yourself in a way that reflects the transformation you provide. I am someone who's all about walking the talk, of being the walking representation of your own transformation. That's kind of how I teach marketing. And then aside from the marketing methods is the manifesting methods. Now, I had a little trepidation about releasing these because of the current manifestation matrix, which essentially just asks you to do more and be more and think more of this and feel more of that without actually creating the inner transformation to happen. And so, in my opinion, it's all kind of an inside job. Your inner reality creates an outer reality, and the inner reality is created through the money methods. The money methods allows you to build the foundation that makes it possible for you to hold more, to have the capacity to hold more. So it's not just focused on identity work or nervous system development or even faith-based manifesting. It's all kind of involved in there, and there's never just one thing that makes manifesting possible. You have to kind of do a bunch of things and see what works for you. So that is essentially what the many methods are about. And for a clearer picture, it's really about shedding everything that isn't you in order to make way for everything that is you. So you're shedding all of the pain, patterns, and programming that keep you stuck, that keep you in an older version of you. So the money method is essentially, while it is a program that helps you become become a manifester. That's really what it is. It does that by releasing, through the shed. I call it the great shed. Through releasing everything that you're not so that you can become everything that you are. And by the way, you're not really becoming anything. It's more of you remembering your essence to begin with and working with nothing but the essence that is you. So at the completion of the money methods, which was about, I want to say 4 months ago this week, a lot has changed. And that's because I committed to the inner work that came as a result of me completing the money methods for myself. I always do all the methods for myself. I can't sell anything that I can't get behind or that hasn't worked for me. So the money methods had to be done within my own time frame. Now, in this week's episode, I'm sharing the 10 shifts that made a lot of things possible for me, that made a lot of things start to happen and fall into place for me. So let's dive in. Shift number 1, when I decided to truly believe in the power of my essence. This is way easier said than done, and I want to focus on the specific words that I'm using, believing in the power of my essence. I'm not just saying believing in my essence, like it's pretty easy to believe in your essence. It's another thing to believe in the power of it, meaning, can you believe that it's possible for your essence to be the creator and to call in everything that you desire in your life? Can that be enough for you? Or are you too tied to the worldly world and believe that you have to have a hand in everything, that you have to control everything, that outcomes that you desire won't actually happen unless you're making them happen? That's kind of what shift 1 was about for me, is when I really started to believe in the power of my essence, because your essence is the most powerful part of you. Shift number 2, when I decided I was going to build momentum by showing up consistently, regardless of my mood, the lack of validation from the external world, or my internal loops that kept me stuck. Now, when you're building a soul-aligned business, you can't show up for it as the old and outdated version of you. And I'm talking about the version of you that stops and starts, the version of you who moves based on your mood, the version of you who shows up inconsistently or just not at all. This version of you is the version of you who's making you drift in and out of your purpose. And more often than not, momentum is built moment to moment. And all you have to do is not stop. That's how momentum is built. Just not stopping. Don't give up. Don't give in. Just stay the course. And later on, I'm going to be talking about a big part of that, like how actually do you lock into something and why is it important for you to lock into that. But if you're watching this, I know, it's not something you're going to give up on. Most of the soulpreneurs that I work with, they're in it for the long game because it's who they are. It's their calling. It's the work that they were meant to do for the world. And if that sounds like you, then this is what you need to do. Release that older version of you. Shift number 3, when I decided that the newer version of me was going to take the wheel and drive. Now, this took some time to integrate because I will say the old version of me fights like hell to stay stuck. And I won't even put that in. I won't even make that a past tense thing. It's not that she fought like hell to stay stuck. She fights like hell to stay stuck, even to this day. So I have to regularly call myself out on my own BS. I have to regularly check myself. I have to regularly ask myself, am I making this move from the most expansive part of me? Or am I doing it because I'm too scared? Am I doing it because I'm afraid of something? Am I doing it because I've got some sort of lack scarcity thing around this? So it's really being hyper aware of your triggers and of the things that make you want to hide in plain sight. Shift number 4, when I decided that I was going to move right when I felt the call to move. Now, this was me getting in touch with my intuition and really having faith in it. And I've said this once before, I think in one of my Instagram posts, is that you can't make your felt sense make sense. And the amount of times that I've tried to do that, it was my ego trying to talk myself out of whatever it is that I just knew was the right thing to do. So now whenever I feel that nudge, whenever I feel that internal pull, I'm always asking myself, is this good for me now and great for me later? That's how I know I'm on track. Because if I can say clearly that this is going to be good for me now and great for me later, even though it's like freaking bizarre and weird and something that I wouldn't do, or maybe it feels uncomfortable and uncertain. If it's good for me now and great for me later, I'm doing it. Shift number 5, when I decided that I was going to keep myself accountable around my distractions and self-sabotaging ways. Okay, so this is kind of a piggyback of what we've been talking about, but I love a good distraction. And Instagram, as much as I love it, is probably my greatest distraction. I don't doom scroll. That's not something that I do. I call it joy scrolling. But, and here's the thing, I love the feed that I've curated on there. My feed is great, it's great. It gets a little weird sometimes, and that's usually my cue to jump off. But it is somewhat of a distraction. And aside from that distraction, you know, there are other distractions of like not knowing what to do next, or busying myself with things that don't require my energy at all, or caring too much about something or someone or anything else that doesn't really, it's not a part of my purpose. It has nothing to do with me. And so this type of attention to detail and what you're being distracted by takes consciousness, but it also takes radical honesty and a willing heart. And we forget this sometimes. Really, all you need to do in order to like move the needle is have that willing heart, because when you have a willing heart, you're capable, you're taking action, and you're tuned in. Shift number 6, when I decided that I was going to let people and situations be who and what they are, show me who and what they are, and rise to meet me where I am versus where they are. This is an interesting one, because for a long time I didn't realize how much attention I put on my connections versus how much attention I put on myself. And when you're doing this work of rediscovering and reconnecting to your essence, you realize that everybody is a mirror to you. You're a mirror to everyone else. And you will get information and data, but here's the thing. You need to use it for your own good. You can't fix people. You can only fix yourself. And that's the same for destructive people. If you have destructive people in your life who have maybe hurt you in some way, or have destroyed their own lives with you being, what is it called? With you kind of being like a, you all know what I'm saying, but just a kind of natural consequence of that. You can't change, fix, or rescue destructive people. You can only change, fix, and rescue the part of yourself that connected you to them. So something to think about. Shift number 7, when I became the type of business owner I wanted to be in order to hold what I wanted to hold in my business. So your soul-aligned business needs your boss level energy. And I'm not talking about the current boss babe matrix. That's not what I'm talking about at all. I actually can't stand that. I'm talking you as your most authentic self, free of all the BS. So this is basically anything that makes you feel less than, anything that makes you move from fear instead of faith, anything that makes you question, anything that makes you question your own self-worth and your own validity, because this takes a lot of work. You know that there might be a part of you that is holding you back. You know that there might be a part of you that is keeping you stuck, that is keeping you hidden, that is keeping you safe in your own space. But your business requires you to be locked into that vision. It requires you to be anchored into that purpose. Shift number 8, when I start to move from a place of fullness sourced from within. When you move like you were chosen for what you're doing, you take such good care of yourself. You are nourished, you are loved, and you are sourced from within. And I want to specifically pay attention to the last thing I said, sourced from within. You realize as you're going through this process that you are the source of everything you need. You are the source of your own joy, your own peace of mind, your own happiness, your own ease, your own flow. You are the source of all of that. And when you realize that you are either giving too much or not giving yourself enough, you start to come back to yourself. You make that unconscious thing conscious. And so then you can honor your body, you can honor your mind, you can honor your spirit in a way that is truly reflective of who you want to be. Shift number 9, when I detached from all outcomes and decided that what is aligned for me will find me, and me living on purpose is truly all I will ever need. Now, this is the reason why our purpose is all that we will ever need, is because it's really all that we ever wanted. Your purpose can be the most fulfilling thing in your life. It could give you that juice, that fire, that thing that makes you radiate so much joy, and it's because you're locked into your purpose. Now, detaching from outcomes doesn't mean avoidance, and I know that is something that is confusing. It doesn't mean that you just drift and do nothing about it, and it definitely doesn't mean that you stop caring. It simply means that you know that whatever is happening to you is happening for your highest good, and that's just how you live. That's how you live detached. So essentially, detachment is trust. Shift number 10, this is when I really truly started to believe in myself. Now, this sounds a lot like shift number 1, but it's not. It's a little different. So if you remember, shift number 1 was when I started to believe in the power of my essence. Shift number 10 is when I really started to believe in myself. Now, here's the thing about sold, and it's something that I always say, is people can no longer be sold to, they must be sold to. People cannot be sold unless you are sold first. They cannot be sold unless you radiate that belief in yourself first. Nobody's going to believe in you more than you believe in yourself. So the point of being sold is so that you can radiate, so that you can show up, be seen, and shine. And the reason why we want to believe in ourselves more than anybody is because that's what's going to keep you locked in. That's what's going to keep you anchored in. When you're finally a believer in yourself, you move differently, you swing bigger, and you show up, be seen, and shine in a way that is truly reflective of your essence. So I'm going to leave you with that message. If you want more information on the marketing methods or the money methods, check out the Get Guidance page of my website. I have a variety of offerings at various price points and also different levels of access to me. Until next time, be well and take care.